What's up, YouTube? The Rain Man here. In this video, since we have all the elemental halls open this weekend, I'm gonna talk about the elemental halls, of course, and tips and strategies for what you may want to use to complete them if you've not completed all 10 of them yet, all 10 floors. Also, I want to mention some of the floors that you may want to, instead of targeting the boss, maybe target the right crystal. Uh, So I'm going to jump in here. We're going to go down the list. First off, I'm going to jump into Dart real quick and use the boss for example. All the bosses are pretty much the same attack-wise. They all have attacks all enemies and stuns them for one turn by chance. The damage increases as fewer enemies stand. So the lesser enemies you have, the more damage the lesser monsters you have available, the more damage the boss is going to do. Also, burns enemies with a cursed glare and inflicts continuous damage for 3 turns with a high chance. So it's going to hit all your monsters and possibly leave a dot on them. Gets an extra turn if an enemy falls. So if one of your monsters dies, he gets to go again. So back to the first skill, attacks all enemies. Damage increases as fewer enemies stand. So if he kills someone, he's going to go again. He's going to do more damage. So keep that in mind. So those are the 3 skills that all the bosses have. But there is a difference in a couple of them. Particularly the first one, which is the light dungeon. This boss, difference in him is he has a passive. Well, not really a passive, but Guardian's defense is increased by 500%. So this one has extremely high defense. So it's going to be tough to break through, even with my monsters, the ones that don't ignore defense with their attacks. They're only doing 100, 200, maybe 300 damage if I get lucky with a defense break. So it's when I take that back. I may actually be doing more damage with a defense break. But anyway, like I said, even at my level, I'm only doing maybe 200 damage with each hit. So this takes a while to peck him down if you don't break that defense early. Or if you don't have ignore defense. Or dots. Bombs. Those are the type of monsters you're going to want to bring with you. Defense breakers like the Inagamis. Bella's the one everyone really wants. Those that ignore defense. Such as Solution, which you can see in my screen there. The high elementals have ignore defense moves. I think the Drunken Master's first move has a chance of ignoring defense, I think. So, get ignore defense. Dot monsters, those that put those continuous damages, such as you see Beretta, you can see in my list, Beretta. I also have Ryan, which I catch a lot of flack for having. But he does do a lot of dots. I think it's his third skill, the continuous damage. I think he does continuous damage on that move. So he does dots pretty regularly. So I said dots, ignore defense. You can also use bombs. I don't really have any bombers. I take that back. I got all 5 elemental bombers, but I don't really have anything to set off bombs. So my monsters are fast enough. I don't need the bombs. But you can use bombs and dots. They ignore defense as well. It just takes them a turn to go around to set off the bombs, of course. Keep in mind that whenever you do go through this, you're going to want to have some high HP or really fast monsters, because the crystals in the waves actually ignore defense. So keep that in mind. You want a healer as well if it's your first attempt at it. You don't really have one on my team there, as you can see, but of course my monsters are fast enough. So really fast, hit hard, ignore defense, and dot. Or if your team's not fast enough, bring that healer in there. But always remember, keep in the defense break, ignore defense, dots, bombs. They're going to be your friends for taking on the boss. Also, floors you might want to keep in mind. Before the right crystal, also all the bosses, the left crystal does the same thing, with the exception of wind. The light one here increases the boss's defense for 3 turns. So he actually gets a defense boost on top of his already 500% defense increase. The floors you want to keep in mind for the right crystal that may give you trouble, you may want to target first. B4 has an attack that ignores defense. So it's going to hit you hard and ignore that defense, just like the crystals in the wave. B8 has an invincibility crystal for 2 turns, so the boss will take no damage at all for 2 turns. So if you got someone that can strip it, like Bella, the light Inagami, it's not going to be as much big of a deal, but it's still going to be a hindrance. Also, B9 has an immunity crystal, which gives the boss immunity for 3 turns. So you may want to take out that crystal first, or take someone who's going to strip that buff off. Again, like Bella. But that's what you're going to need for the light. The dark. Dark's unique crystal-wise. Like I said, he's going to be the same. Like I said, the boss is going to be pretty much the same. The crystals, the left and right crystals, are the same throughout. So keep that in mind, that the left and right crystal at the boss all will put a dot on you, and they all do a continuous damage for 3 turns. So you're going to take damage. So whenever you go to attack this, when you go to handle these floors, you want to bring in high resistance or cleanser, someone who's going to cleanse those continuous damages off of you. Also, you may want to bring in someone who does slow or attack bar reducers, like Spectra. It's AoE, attack bar reduction, and slow. So maybe it'll keep the crystals from moving too soon or too quickly. Also keep the boss from moving. So there may be some monsters you want to keep in mind there whenever you go to attack him. Of course, like usual, dots, ignore defense, or defense breaks are going to also be helpful as well. They're not as much of a requirement like they are with the light monster, but still, they never hurt. The next one in line is water. Fire. Fire boss. Like I said, he's pretty much the same as the other two, with what he has. The left crystal will, on every floor, the left crystal puts a bomb on you for 3 turns. So after 3 turns, the bomb goes off and does massive damage. That crystal is slow. That doesn't mean, take it for granted, because you will get a bomb on you the first time you go through, if you're not prepared. So you may want to take some high resistance monsters or cleansers. Someone's going to cleanse the bombs off of them. Also, again, like some monsters that do slow and attack bar reduction. Again, like Spectra. It's an AoE attack bar reduction and slow. So it's easily farmable boss on easily farmable monster. He's got a secret dungeon on Fire Day, so maybe something you want to try and get your hands on. A floor you may want to keep in mind, B8. That floor there actually has 2 bomb crystals. So you have 2 crystals that will actually set a bomb on you. So you got bombs, and you got bombs from the crystals, dots from the boss. So like I said, cleansers are going to be your friend unless you're really fast. Of course, your first time hitting the floor, you're not going to be that fast, of course. So keep that in mind with what you're going to want to bring, what kind of monsters you're going to want to bring with you there. The next one is the Hall of Water. Here, this is one of those special monsters, one of the special bosses. The boss has the same moves as everyone else, plus the Guardian's HP is increased by 500%. So the boss has a ton of HP. Also, the attack power increases with time. So the longer the boss is alive, the harder he's going to hit. Along with, like I said, the first skill. Damage increases as fewer enemies stand. So he's going to hit harder, and if monsters drop, he's going to hit even harder. So you may want to bring some HP monsters with you for that one. Or really fast. The left crystal on all floors actually does HP recovery on all enemies for 2 turns. So you have an HP block, so you won't be able to heal your monsters for 2 turns. So like I said, when you bring a healer in there, you're going to want a cleanser. And if you bring a healer, you're going to want someone like Jasoon, who, like I said, she'll balance HP, ignoring the HP block. So that's the possibility there. Uh, the monsters you want to bring in are going to be typically those that damage per enemy HP. Since this HP is so high, enemies that hit according to the boss's HP is going to be ideal. Um, I really should take a note and noted some monsters that do that. First one that comes to mind is the Wind Inugami. I can't think what his name is right now, Ramanan or something like that. I believe his third skill actually is based on the enemy's max HP. Floors you may want to keep in mind. B2, the right crystal was going to hit hard, ignoring defense. So you may want to take that right crystal out first. Your first time through, or if you're having trouble with that floor. Another floor is B4. The right crystal will give immunity for 2 turns. Invincibility for 2 turns. So the boss is not going to take any damage at all. As high as his HP is, you want to strip that off or take out that crystal first. Also B10, which is the top floor you can get to. The right crystal does immunity for 3 turns, which means you can't put any dots, defense breaks, heal blocks, any debuffs you won't be able to put on him. So you want to take out that right crystal, or bring a monster that's going to strip that buff off of him. So, I said the monsters you want to bring with you, like I said, monsters that do damage per the enemy's HP, monsters that do continuous damage. Those are going to help that out. Considering that the boss is passive, like I said, his attack power increases over time. You want to move fast and hit hard. So ignoring defense will help out as well. So like I said, move fast, hit hard. Because the more often he moves, the harder he's going to hit you. And finally is the Hall of Wind. This one was probably one of my more difficult ones before I actually realized what I was not doing. Boss has, like I said, the same moves as other bosses. The left crystal is the oddball one for the left crystals. Floors 1 through 5 will actually heal him to a specific amount. So he's going to get probably 20 or 25% healing every time he moves. Every time that crystal moves. On floors 6 through 10, that left crystal fully heals. So you may have him almost dead. That left crystal moves, boom, he's back at full health again. So keep that in mind. With that, you're going to want, of course, like usual, defense breaks, ignore defense, dots, bombs. They're going to help out a whole lot. The one monster you're going to bring with this one type of monster you want to bring with you here, aside from the others, is actually going to be a heal blocker. So someone like Colleen, I believe the Death Knights, their first skill actually does a heal block. So I said monsters like that who actually will block the healing. So when that crystal moves, he doesn't heal. You do want something that's going to do multiple turns of a heal block. I think Colleen's is 2 turns. I think the Death Knights are 2 turns as well. So anything that does a 1 turn, the boss is probably going to move before that crystal does and cleanse it. So you want multiple turns of a heal block. Or multiple monsters that do heal blocks. So, but that is it for this. I said I hope this is helpful to some of those people who may be having trouble getting through these floors or moving up in the floors. Like I said, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. And until next time, have fun. Later.